everyone, welcome back. Alright, so I've been saying this for how long now? I need to get these darn trees in here on this back area between Wallace and Lake City. I'm going to do it. I know it's background. I'm not going to worry too much about using really nice trees. I made some super trees up, which are nice, but they have their issues. Anyway, couple commercial trees sitting back there. I'm not sure they're going to be there. I just kind of threw those in for now. And I got some other stuff working with my friend Bill Schultz. This is some, what the hell is this? Oak leaf hydrangea or something like that. Some super secret bush he trimmed stuff off of, and I played around a little bit. A little more airy looking. And I thought I had, oh yeah. I got more down here. I know it's going to be dark. Anyway, okay, anyway. So, I need to get this done, so I'm just going to do it. Not going to worry too much about it looking great, because it's going to be kind of in the background. But let's get this planted so I can move forward and work. I'm not even going to put a lot of detail like on the road back there, because again, you just don't see it. And actually, it's got some signs and stuff, so I think it's fine the way it is. And I can move forward and really kind of finish all this stuff, which I really want to get done. So I have the plan there for the trackage in Lake City and the new building to go in with the crane and all that kind of cool stuff. So I need to get the go. All right, so shut up, Rob. Or as I say, it's I'm just going to shut up and get to work. Oh, Lordy, we got some trees. All right, so here's kind of the first layer, I guess, because it's not the way it looks. Way too silly, I think. But, okay, so it's the first layer back against the background, back against the hill there. Now I'll come in and kind of fill in along the embankment with smaller trees and maybe some other bushes and shrubbery and whatnot. And you may notice what I kind of did here. There's a real big conifer here at one end. That's called a bookend. Let me show you. This is a well-known botanical treatise here. This is well known. And at this end I have another bookend of other taller conifers. Anyway, so okay, so like I know what the hell I'm talking about. So that's the first round. I'm going to let that set up for a little bit, then come in and work the front. Then obviously I have to walk around and work the other side from the Wallace Junction side as well. So, but at least I'm finally doing something. All right, let's come back when I get some more done. Oh, we are having some fun now. All right, so while the main area there was kind of drying up, I'm looking over here, I'm saying, you know what? We might as well just keep right on going, baby. So again, I didn't want to do a whole lot over here, and as you notice, I kind of kept this open because I want to be able to see that. I like the rocks there in the back, so I kind of kept that open. But I put a little anchor over here. This is the Bill Schultz Memorial Corner. That is pretty much all of Bill's oak leaf hydrangea and some other thing he gave me, and I said, try that. I said, okay, so I tried it. There it is. Now, I may come back and add some more verticalness to it to stick it out and everything like that, but just came along. Again, a little bit, kind of low stuff here along the edge of the hill there, and then kind of blending it into here. You might say, hey, that looks too straight. Well, we can fix that, and I will. I noticed that as well. Straight lines aren't normally that prevalent in nature. So, all right, there we go. So now I kind of got that around to there at least. And that was a pain because I'm stepping up, reaching over stuff. So I want to try to get that area. If I'm going to do this, let's do it all. I can always come back later and fiddle, but probably won't, to be honest. So let's do that, and the other stuff's drying up. Now it's time to go back and do layer 2 on the first area here. Oh boy, we're having some fun now. Alright, layer 2.5 is going in here. I'm using some of the MBR shrubs along the bank and other things. I'm finding, all the trees are kind of shoved in there now, wherever I could. I am also using, let me just pan down here to this. This is way back. I think these are like Hecky trees. They're just ready-made plastic trees. I took them out, sprayed them, with some, I think, diluted Mod Podge or something like that, and sprinkled some finer leaf foliage on them. Figured, they can be used for the background. Well, yeah, I am. And in fact, what I'm doing is I'm actually taking them and just putting them in as shrubs along the tree line. See, I can't even see where they're. There's one there. There's one there. There's a couple back here. I think here, here, here. I think I even popped one over here. Did I? Yeah, right there. Right. In there. It's in there somewhere. I don't know, because it all gets lost. But anyway, good use for those. So I'm glad I didn't throw them out. So now, again, I want to come back and do some more. And I know the other side is going to need work too, but I'm going to come back in and start taking some filigrane boucher. And this is some of the drop material that was kind of pruned off of the super trees and whatnot. Well, now that, you just take that, and if you have gaps where you want to fill in some stuff, you just come in, you don't have to glue it, you just stick it in there. And it kind of fills it out and makes it look more dense. And again, this is probably the most that I'm ever going to look at it. Because once you get things done, and then, I'm going to have a couple big trees here, which are going to kind of hide it. You're going to be back here at the aisle. There's going to be all kinds of things here. So again, it's just to create that background, green, a little bit of separation between here and down at Wallace. So, all right, man. Having some fun now. Let's keep moving on. Hey, we got some trees here. All right, so here it is. Not done, but I think for the most part, for this side, now I'll still come back and fiddle. But it pretty much is what I wanted to accomplish in terms of, you really can't see very well. You can look through the trees and you can see Wallace Junction, but for the most part, it's pretty well blocked off. And along here, looking pretty good. And like I said, a little bit of a gap there for just to show the rocks were there on the backside by the branch. And then a little bit there on the far side. Now I will come back and tinker because I can't help myself, but I really want to resist the urge to do a lot more because you just don't need to. Because by the time I get things done in the front, that's all just kind of sit there and be a backdrop. And it's not going to be a huge deal. I think everything worked out pretty well. I'm not 100% sure about these two trees, but whatever. They're fine. So I did start a little bit on the back side. Well, I'll walk over there and show you because I really do need to do some stuff back there. Because if you look here, if I can use my tweezers to point right there, there's a background tree. There's a tree on the back side, and it kind of gives it some depth. And then right there in between the two conifers. So they're on the back side. They're on the Wallace Junction hillside. So I'm going to have to do some work there, and I think that'll even help fill this out even more. But real quick, let's go take a look at that side. Okay, welcome to the light speed universe where we just traveled about 100 miles in 20 seconds. So here's the back side. You can see, I do want to come along in here. I got a couple started, one here, one there. But I think as I fill this side out, and I'm going to get some more trees. So I might have to try to make some more super trees or maybe buy some more because I don't think I have a whole lot that I can salvage of the larger trees. I don't know, you don't seem to get as many large trees as I thought you would out of one of those packs. But definitely can see I need to do some stuff on the backside here, which I kind of expected. And I think once I do that, I think it's going to look pretty darn good because it'll kind of fill in, on this side and the Lake City side. So definitely need some work here, and I want to get it done. I was probably a little bit risky, doing a lot of this stuff here in the front and actually finishing that. Where I probably should have waited a little bit because I'm going to be reaching over to get back there and do stuff. But again, it's not going to be super detailed. We'll have a couple structures to add in there, and railroad paraphernalia and whatnot for the little yard there and stuff. So definitely need to work on this side. So all right, we'll get to that, but we're getting there. I mean, even with that, even though it's not perfect, it's kind of like walk around behind the curtain a little bit. It does help. It really does help. So, all right, let's see what I can do. What other kind of mischief I can get myself into. Oh boy, what have I done? All right, so I tried a technique that a friend sent me. He knows who he is. I'm not going to name names because I don't know if people want their names out there on the internet. But he gave me a handout, basically, that I printed off step by step how he makes the background type trees out of super tree material, skewers, ground foam, and the leaf flake type stuff. All right, so I tried it, and these might be a little bit large, but these are meant to be the up and out trees. These are the trees that don't have a lot of branches down below because they're growing, in basically in a forest. And as you know, the leaves, the intent is to be in the sunshine. So there's no leaves down here because they ain't going to get no sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. All right, there's a copyright strike. So I said, okay, I'm going to try it. You can see I super glued on some of the super tree leftovers. They're not the best pieces, but again, these are background to be way in the back. Well, not way in the back, but I think far enough in the back that the fact that they're not perfect trees probably won't really be overly visible. But they're kind of the up and out. And then the intent is, as I kind of drone over here, there's one that I shoved in there. Now, it's not right. It's still up too far. But that's the intent. You can see it's literally coming up, I'm sticking it right in between the other trees. It's really just to get the top part that's kind of growing out above the tree line in the sunshine. And then these were also, I decided to give these a little bit of color. Real slight amount on this tree, because I'm kind of modeling late September, which is actually the date right now. And looking outside, at least where I am, which is roughly the area I'm modeling, their trees are just starting to change. Some actually are in more color than others, but a lot of them are you're just starting to see a hint of it. So I figured I would do that on these, since these are the taller ones, and from what I've read, the color kind of starts, the farthest away as it loses its chlorophyll or whatever magic potions in these. So they kind of change from the top down or from the outside in, or whatever. So anyway, just a little bit of real slight early fall color. Now, these two giant popsicles, like cotton candy sticks, those were made with larger skewers. I believe they were for my son's graduation party. They were going to roast marshmallows or do s'mores or something like that. So my wife bought these real gigantic ones, and before she gave them to Steve to take to his house, I said, wait a minute. So I stole off 4 or 5 of them for for trees. So those are those two. The other 4 I did, plus the one that's already in, they are smaller ones. The typical, shish kebab type skewer. Painted up a little bit. I didn't do a real pretty job. You probably can tell here where I super glued the branches on. It really doesn't look very tree-like. I did try to come in with some of the Vallejo environment, weed and grass type acrylic texture, and kind of muck it on there a little bit. But again, the intent is you're only going to see, basically from here up or here up. I might do some trimming on these trees. But anyway, so that's just my first attempt at what I'll call, building trees, as opposed to just taking super tree stuff and trimming off the paint in the rear end, little leaves that are inside it, and then painting them and dousing them. Now for these, after the super glue dried, I did spray paint them, the trunk with a gray primer, and then shot over it with some brown. I think one of the who makes the ultra flat camouflage stuff. Anyway, a brown color. Then I sprayed everything really heavy with spray adhesive. I think a Loctite spray adhesive, but I mean, Elmer's makes it, 3M makes some. It's just what I had. Sprinkled on some foam. I didn't have, what my friend recommends is you do about 30-40% to kind of build the tree with some just Woodland Scenic's mixed green ground foam. Well, I don't have any. I don't know. I thought I did, but all I have is fine burnt grass and some fine soil, which is the wrong color. For this, so I used some leaf foliage that was larger. from NP Scenery, and then came over it with some of the normal Noch or Hecky, I forget. I think it's Noch, the leaf flake that they make. So that's on these trees. And again, these are meant to be back. In fact, the view here is actually a little bit closer than they will be if they're back in that tree line. You actually would probably be, roughly back about here. So anyway, so I'll try it. I'll see if I can get these in. They're going to kind of be visible from the Wallace Junction side, because I did some work over there. I'll show that in a minute, but I ran out of trees. Man, it's amazing how the layout just sucks up trees when you start doing this. Oh, man. All right. To have ultimate time and money. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of show that, and I'll get these stuck in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use these two. Maybe I can use them up there on that hill at the upper end, but they are really big. Maybe I made them too big. I'll actually maybe trim them back a little bit. Anyway, all right, enough babbling. Time to shut up and get to work. Okay, so I did put in those cotton candy trees. I don't know. You can obviously tell, right? Right there. There's one of them. Here's the other one. Right there. The other ones, the other four, aren't quite. They kind of blend in a little bit better, but they're there. They're the taller ones, and the intent again. I actually don't really mind it, because if I kind of zoom in, I don't know how well I'll be able to see this, but that one cotton candy tree, you can see the trunk coming up, no leaves, no nothing on it, and then boom. Same thing on this one. So this one comes up, nothing. There's nothing down low, boom. And in fact, I got lucky on this. See, this tree back here is kind of growing away from that tree, which it would. It's kind of like, hey, I need the sunshine. So, and if you ever look, trees really do some, or tree branches really do some cool things when they try to grow to get into the sun. So yeah, they're big, but you know what? I'm going to let it go. They're not glued in with those ginormous spike skewers. I just stuck them into the foam. And I kind of like the way it looks. Yeah, they're big. Yeah, it's up there. But, if you're down at I don't know how well this is going to work, but imagine you're down at this level. Does that look totally unrealistic? No, because I think trees are much larger than we tend to think they are. Now, of course, if you did everything to scale, it might look wonky with your everything else on the layout that's not to scale. But anyway, I don't mind it. You know what? I'm gonna let it go. I did trim some of the strange appendages off of those. They gave me a couple trees I can use somewhere else, smaller ones. And some of the little drop pieces are now shrubbery underneath here. Just kind of tucked them in there to kind of do that. So I'm going to pretty much say this side here is, good enough. I may do a little bit more base level, maybe some goldenrod, or but not a lot, because again, it's just not going to be seen that much. So there's no sense going nutsoid on it. So I like it. And then what I can do, you can say, I got some ideas for on the old layout. That's a howitzer and a German, a little smaller than a 105 millimeter. But anyway, there's a picture in Shamokin, Pennsylvania, on the Reading Railroad. They have a little park, and like many towns, even today, there's a park at the VFW, the American Legion, or whatever. But they have military equipment, maybe a tank, a deuce and a half track, whatever. In Sharon, there are 2 artillery pieces. If I can find the photo, I'll put it up. It's kind of a neat photo. And I really like it. I made it for the last layout. I may even, if I really dig back, may even have a photo of what I did in the last layout. Probably an older, blurry picture, but anyway, I may. So what I might do here, because I like it. I like the way it looks. And I may, kind of come off of here to an area, put a nice big, one of the foreground trees in here. Or, put here, I have some gas lights that look pretty cool. Make this come out. Make it like a little park area, Many small towns did that to commemorate the military and whatnot, and, or to commemorate, the folks from the town that served overseas and whatnot. So I may do that. Then I have, some gas lights I can add in here. And again, I got to remember that I'm actually got more now that the street's going to come all the way out here, so I even have to do some lights and stuff on this side. So that'll be fun. So that's why I want to get this done so I can start working out. And of course, like I said, get the f-stop up a little bit higher, and get the new building in here and get all this done. So, but I don't want to be reaching over it. So this is a huge step forward. One small step for Rob. One giant leap for Rob kind. All right, I'm getting goofy. Time for some dinner. Oh, all right. What I'll do, let's go around the other side and look at the Wallace Junction side just to see how that's coming along. All right, so we just teleported ourselves about 90 miles away to Wallace Junction. You can see how it looks from the backside. Definitely need to do some work, in amongst here. Like I said, I did a second round of what I had left over from super trees. Got them in there. It made the ginormous cotton candy umbrella type trees. I did do a little bit of work down at this end with some trees that I actually moved from foreground to background. So that's been I'm okay with that. That kind of finishes that off. I don't know if you can see way back there. I added a phone and a telltale. And now I'm done. I mean, that's so far back. I just wanted the impression of, yep, there's something going on back there, but I'm not going to go nuts. No one's probably even going to notice that. But so I'm happy here up to about this point. You can see from this side it's still a little bit open. You see some of the trunks of the cotton candy trees, and I have to fill that area in. But I do have, hopefully enough, some filigrambutia. I really probably try to get some more super trees. Anyway, to fill that in a little bit, just a little bit. I think it looks okay, but it needs to come down another inch or so with some lower trees toward the bottom of the embankment. Then do some scenic stuff right here at the bottom. Add a little building in here for for the block office, for the Wallace block operator, and that's about it. There's not much here. Maybe a shed or something like that, but there's not a whole lot going on that little side over there. So getting there. All right. Okay, let's see what I can do on this side. I do have some more. Oh yeah, here they are. Here's some of the fallen pieces. Revenge of the Fallen from the trees that I cut. These are some more of those, I think they were Noch, ready-made trees. I was going to sell them, but I was like, wait a minute. I used them successfully on the other side there, so I said, you know what? I took them out, I dipped them and flocked them, which, now that I say that, it sounds like a medieval torture. You'll be dipped and flocked at dawn. But I did, and it kind of helps them. And they're good for, again, for background. They're not foreground trees, but they're good to go in the background. And I actually did plop a couple of them back in here. So it's good. They're good to fill in because you can't really see them. Now, if I zoomed in there and do a video of a train coming out, yeah, you may be able to notice it. But you know what? Good enough. I can see a little bit of shiny bit, so I can come in there with some more deadfall and that kind of stuff to cover that up. I can see it from here. You probably can't see it in the camera, but so there's still some more work to do, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So, all right, more to come as we progress here on our scenic adventure. Okie dokie. So before I decided to put the rest of these trees in here, what I did is I came along here and did some detailing down here in Wallace Junction. So what we have here, let's make it a little more visible. It's very dark. That's the block office for the block operator and his buddies. That's a kit from Stangl. It's from Poland. I had it. Looks like a nice little block office. Non-operating light on it there. Okay. The little shed next to it was something I picked up, unfortunately, at a gentleman's estate sale. I don't know, it might be like a little Atlas building, but, it's one of those little ubiquitous... Hold on, got a cough. Yeah, sorry about that. My sarcoidosis is acting up a little bit. So I decided to paint it in kind of some New York Central colors. I added a garage door there in the front. It was just open. I don't know if I have a garage door there, but yeah, whatever. Painted it up, detailed it, added a little bit of this little side contraption here for the guys to work. I don't know what it is. A little shelf there with some stuff on it, just to get some variety. Added a light next to it, little track there for a speeder that I have from Shorty. That's going to sit there. I decided to weather it up a little bit. Looked a little bit too shiny for me. Some rails laying there. I have some tie plates that are getting rusted up. I'll just throw a pile of them somewhere in there. Just some tie plates. And then a little brick something. I don't know what it is. A little pile of ballast. Now, it may look a little funky cold Medina right now because I just finished the wet water and diluted Mod Podge. So that's all drying up. So that's why it might look a little funny. But I want to get this in, get it to start to set. And then, when that's done, do the trees. I thought, should I do the trees first? Then do the detailing? Or I said, nah, let me do the stuff down here first. I also cleaned up the track a little bit. Took out a lot of the static grass, which I really shouldn't have used. Like I said, static grass and I just don't get along. So I added a little battery box and one of the small New York Central cabinets in there, just for fun. So, now that that's all done, I actually like it. I think it looks good. Now it's time to come back and up here on the embankment get the trees in. And the trees themselves, if I carefully do a little pan over here, are this is kind of round 2 of the super trees that I got. So they should be okay. I didn't make any real big ones. Didn't make any canopy trees or the cotton candy umbrella trees. So I'm going to take those and get them in place, and let's see how everything looks. Okay, so the next round of the trees on the embankment are in. You kind of see them running along here. And now what I'm going to do, let me just kind of show you what that looks like. Again, those are just kind of normal super trees planted in there. I also did, the rest of the layout was complaining a little bit. Like, hey, what about us? We need some trees. So I put a couple, I put one there and one there, just to throw them in, because again, I may want to do a little bit more along here as well. So to quell the dissonant scenic areas, I threw them in there. I also had it just for fun. Just one back there, because I had it and I was like, well, it's not really going to fit on the embankment, so I threw one in. You can see one behind it. Just the start of working up that side over there. So anyway, alright, so just for kicks. You can kind of see how things look down here, although it's a little bit dark. So that's got the round of ground cover, ballast and whatnot kind of settled in, and I like to let it sit for like 2 or 3 days before I come in and do too much. Just make sure it's nice and set. It's not going to move when I get in there and do some stuff. So, but overall, not bad. I may come in and look at it. Actually got some leaves on the ground. Oh, the humanity! All those trees can actually have leaves on the ground. No way! Okay, so now to finish this off and to maybe run a train, what I did, I'm going to do another little aisle pan here. Here is the next set of trees. Now these I made on skewers, and they might look like normal trees, but they're not. They're special trees. What these are. Such a dork. If I take it, it looks from the front, it looks normal, right? However, if I rotate it, you can see it's actually flat. It's actually, there's nothing back there. That's because this is one of the trees that's in the front of the tree line. And again, so the branches and, well, so the leaves get the, glorious life-giving sunshine. The tree grows this way. So this set of 6 trees, well, not this one. This is just more like an umbrella. That's just a little bit cut in the back. Again, that's kind of to go in there as well, but really to be more popped in from the top side. So you could even just kind of like, boom. All right. Scenery's done. So all of these trees are kind of like that. Again, that one is, oh, boy, that guy's really, got a bit of glue stuck on that one. Again, you see the back. See how they look weird when you look at them that way. But when they're planted like this, and you know the rest of the tree line is behind it, they're going to look just fine. This one again, go up, out, and boom, nothing on the back. So they look bizarre that way, but that's the way they would sort of grow in real life anyway. So now that's just a regular piece of super tree stuff. It was interloping, so I dipped it and flocked it, and I'll use it somewhere. So this technique is probably something similar to what I'm going to use over here, because I need to finish this area. And a full tree, especially wouldn't work back against the backdrop. So you put a partial tree, maybe some taller, just top umbrella trees, and then trees growing straight out in the front there. If that takes 3 levels, might only be 2. Anyway, I'm babbling, but that's the concept. It's called the partial half tree concept. All right, so let's get these in place. I don't know if I'm going to need all of them, but I had the skewers and the super glue, and I was in the mood. I was on a roll, so I just slapped them all together. So then, once those are done, I get a little bit of final detailing down here, give the track a good cleaning, very carefully come in with the vacuum, get the little pieces cleaned up, and then this scene is I know nothing's ever really done, but it's pretty far along. It's good enough to say, all right, I'm going to move on and get on to the Lake City side of things. So, and it's funny, just as an aside, because I like to babble, I was all worried because in the front of the station, it's hard to see, but I didn't finish the coming out of the front. It's like kind of open. I don't even know if I can get into it now, but anyway, I was all worried about it. Obviously, you can't see it from this side because you're looking this way, and now, yep, can't see it at all, so problem solved. I don't have to worry about it. Now, if you ever shrunk yourself to HO scale and tried to go around the front of the building, you notice it, but isn't it great how things kind of just fix themselves? All right, let's get these front row trees in and see how it looks. Alrighty, time to call this done. I got those other trees in place, and they also came back and added some filigrane busha here and there just to kind of build out the foliage of the tree line. And I did come in on the embankment, and I added some smaller pieces of filigrane busha, a couple bushes here and there. I did add some ground cover, some of the hecky floor that I like to use. Again, it's probably not even noticeable. And, this kind of thing, eventually you get to a point of diminishing returns. You know what I mean? You cross over the peak of the normal curve, and doing more work, adding more stuff doesn't really make a major impact. And you could fiddle with this for days. It's good enough. If I want to come back and play with it later, I certainly can, but there's enough to do on this layout that I need to get moving. So that's the scene here on the Wallace Junction side. I'm pretty happy with it. I do notice one tree isn't perfect. It's this one right here. Yeah, you can just tell that it's not quite right. I got foliage on the branches, which, if you listen to the internet experts, that's not ever right, which I know is true, but whatever. Again, those trees are just kind of stuck in there with the skewer, so I could always take it out if I want to play with it later, but for now, it's like, whatever. It's good enough. So that is the scene. Oh, I did add those. Again, I know it's dark. I don't have but the trees, it makes it dark, which is what happens in the real world, right? I did add the tie plates, the pile back there. And oh, there's Shorty's little speeder. 2 dudes taking a little break from the action there. Just relaxing. They're just set in there for now, just for fun. And of course the rail cars I just placed in there to have something you know, on the side. That's the siding track, and the main track, or I guess the branch main line is one in the front. So, all right. What we'll do then, we'll do a quick view from the other side, which was the real intent of getting that tree line in, and then wrap this puppy up and get it posted. All right, like I said, the real intent was to get that done so I can work on this side of the layout, which I'm going to do starting now. So that's how it looks from this side. I didn't add a whole lot more, maybe a couple more of the filigrane bushel pieces just to put in there. But again, diminishing returns, you can play forever. Oh, I did add a dead tree here, just for the fun of it. Again, that's just sticking there. If I don't like it, I can always move it, but you know, I think it looks fairly good. I didn't do anything more along the embankment itself. I don't really think I need to. I mean, I was like, I mentioned, you know, coming in, doing some more goldenrod or some other, I was like, why? It's like, it looks fine. It's an embankment. And not every inch of the earth is covered with shrubbery and bushes and everything. Some of it's just kind of bare, scruffy, and that's what that's going to be. Plus, again, especially on this side, once I get some of the more foreground stuff, and you're back, you know, about this far away, actually roughly about here is kind of where you're going to be standing. You're not going to notice it. You know, if I finish this park, have a big nice tree here, have more stuff along here, have the industries in here, you know, you're going to be concentrating on the foreground scene, maybe the station complaining about there's a crossover there because it makes no sense, and, you know, etc., etc. So now is the time on sprockets when we finish the darn scene. So what I want to do is, as I mentioned, start working over here now. That's going to be the next latest and greatest thing I want to do. Probably need to figure out what I want to do for the park and that, and then move things out, get the crossing back in, get a crossing, a guard tower installed, and really get this front part wrapped up here. So, alright, so that's that. That's the scenic divider, the tree line. Good, bad, and different. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, and move ahead, move forward. And I mean, literally move forward. I'm going to move forward on the layout. So, all right, enough babbling. Let's, like I said, let's wrap this puppy up, spank it on the butt, and get it posted.